Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Courtney and this is Creative on the Cheap. Today is another round of the DIY Mystery Box Challenge. So if you are new, let me tell you a little bit about this challenge. I did want to say that I have been hosting this challenge for over a year now, and so for this year I wanted to do something a little different. So the DIY Mystery Box Challenges will be happening every other month, and it will always be the last Friday of the month. Each challenge this year will also have an extra little twist that will be added to the challenge. So if you're new, this is what it's all about. There are 8 YouTubers who participate in the challenge. There is a group who are considered regulars, who are awesome DIYers that everybody loves. And then we also are lucky enough to have some awesome subs fill in each time. So this time, Justin Ray is joining us for this next round, and I cannot wait to see what he creates. So once we've gotten the name of one of the other YouTubers, we then go out and buy some items. So since this challenge is the Anything Goes challenge, we could go buy items from anywhere we wanted to, whether it be Walmart, thrift stores, Dollar Tree, I mean anything we wanted. And they don't have to be just crafting items. They can be completely random. And within those items, we do have to include 2 challenge items. So these are items that we wrap up and that would be considered a little tricky to work with. So once we get our box, we get to crafting. We're gonna open them on camera for you guys so you can see what we get. And then we can use anything in our stash to help us make the projects. So this time, the twist is we have to work in a popsicle stick. That's what we have to do. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that yet, but I cannot wait to see what Whitney sent me to see how I can work that in. Now, who did I send my box to? It's Yami from the Latina next door. Definitely go check out what I sent her. There is a playlist down below that has everybody in it, and if you watch it from beginning to end, it will make sense. It'll take you to the right person, and you can just watch the whole thing through. And now I got my box from Whitney. I cannot wait to see what she sent me. So let me grab the box, come right back, and let's see what's in there. All right, here is my box. I did cut off the tape, but I swear I have not looked inside of it yet. So I'm gonna put it to the side and let's check out what Whitney sent me. I cannot wait. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, all right, so on top we've got a card. Carried away with the I like your tea, Whitney. She says she got a little carried away with crossing the T. I think it looks fabulous. Okay. Kindness is rare and beautiful. I love getting these cards. I have a bulletin board over there with every card that I get from my YouTube friends. I just love it. Okay, Courtney, I'm so excited to be sending you this box. Feels full circle after my first ever collab was with you. Since then, you've become one of my most caring, thoughtful, funny, and kind friends I've gotten from YouTube, and I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for being amazing and for inviting me to participate in these collabs. They've become my favorite. I hope you enjoyed the box full of goodies. I can't wait to see what you create. Thanks again, Whitney. P.S. I hope the challenge items make your heart skip a beat. Oh no, Whit. Oh dear, that's so sweet. I love this. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Ooh, pretty. So on top, got some real pretty scrapbook paper. There's 3 pieces. So this one has roses and greenery. Oh, wow, these are really pretty. This one's got like cotton pods and all kinds of flowers, hydrangeas, and then we've got one that's nice and leafy. Very pretty. I love those. Okay, nice. All right. Let's see. Oh, this has got a note attached. I had an extra of these and wasn't sure if your store got them. Feel free to exclude if you... Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, mine never got it. So I'd been eyeballing these. I think I commented when she had posted about these on Instagram. Mine never got them. Yes, thank you. I'm going to keep that. I mean, I'm going to exclude it since you gave me permission to do that. All right. Ooh, the challenge items. Okay. They're wrapped, so I'm going to pull them out. This cute polka dot paper and put them aside. We'll open those last. Ooh, got some florals. So some boxwood pick. And some lavender. All right. Ooh, this is cute. It's a little hand towel. Okay, this is cute. Like, I would use this in my kitchen. Okay, she sends really cute stuff. Like, come on. How am I supposed to tear this apart and make things? Oh, these are cute, little alphabet stickers. So they're white, which is nice, because then you can kind of do whatever you want with them. All right, alphabet stickers. A little concrete knob. Yeah, it feels like concrete, so little knob. Pull this extra paper out. Ooh. Oh, this is cute. I love trucks. It's a little strawberries truck. All right, that's cute. Okay. Wood rounds. Can't go wrong with wood. Love me some wood rounds. That's for sure. Oh, there's another knob. Okay, so it's a set of 2, I guess. She sent me 2 knobs. Same one. Birdhouse. Alrighty. Ooh, that's pretty. Ooh. This is a nice sign. Man, she must have got a good sale. She got a hit of clearance. It says it has always been you, but it is nice and sturdy. Check that out. Okay. I can work with this. I can work with this. All right, and the last thing is a little, ooh, it feels kind of heavy. I think, is that a, wait, does that pop out, I wonder? Oh no, I thought it was coasters. Okay, so this is like a ceramic piece inside of it, but it's got a wood frame around it. So that's kind of cool. Huh. Okay. All right, now that that's out of the way, the challenge items. I have to say, I've been told by several regulars in the group that my challenge items are hard. And what I've realized is they get harder and harder each time I send a box. And there's one particular person, I'm not gonna call you out, who's afraid to get a box from me who hasn't gotten one yet. Comment down below if you can guess who that person is, because she's gonna have a turn eventually. All right, challenge item number 1 and number 2. Oh, these are cute. She put little ribbon on it, made it all pretty. All right, what do we, ooh. I will save this because it's a good size piece of tin. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, hold on. Let me pop this clear thing off. Oh, there. You can see it. Get up to me. It's a, like, just leaves. That is really pretty. Can y'all see that? All right. That's really pretty. What am I gonna do with this? It's really pretty though, Whitney. It's very pretty. Okay, this is challenging. Okay, I'm thinking. The wheels are spinning. All right, challenge item number 2. Here we go. I'm a little nervous. Oh no, is it a cat toy? I've already had a cat toy. I can't remember who sent me the cat toy. Someone sent me a cat toy. That thing, the ball and the thing. I'm trying to remember what I made out of it. Oh, and I turned it into a bell. Please don't be a cat toy. Please don't be a cat toy. Please don't be a cat toy. All right. It's an ankle skipper that lights up. Oh. Oh yeah, it's like police coming for you. Maybe I'll make like a police car. Okay, so this is the one that's gonna make my heart skip a beat, I bet. Yeah, it's skipping all right. This is very similar to the cat toy I got, Whitney, so I'm not really sure what to say about that. Oh, wow, okay. All right. Okay, you've seen it. I've seen it. Now I'm going to think really hard. This is actually, it's a really good box, Whitney. It's a really good box, but this one right here, I'm not gonna lie, it has me a little scared. So, all right, let's get to crafting. For this DIY, I'm going to be working with this little sign that was a wooden frame with a ceramic insert. So the first step was to go ahead and pop out the ceramic insert, and then I took some Waverly White chalk paint and went ahead and painted over the text. Now, at the end of this project, I realized this step wasn't really necessary just because I ended up covering this whole section over, but that's okay. Sometimes you do extra steps when you don't mean to. Once that was done, I took some hot glue and I went ahead and put my tile back in with the nice white side as the bottom. And then taking some little tiny eye hooks, I'm going to screw 4 of these into each of the corners, and I'm actually screwing it in to the little seams where the pieces of the frame meet together. The thing about this is you just need to be very careful because this potentially could split your frame apart, but this thing was, number one, very well made, and number two, these eye hooks were kind of tiny and I wasn't super concerned about that happening, so I went ahead and just put them in those locations. To make the hanging part of this, I'm going to be using this challenge item, which was this really pretty leaf ribbon. And what I needed to do was I'm going to take a piece of the ribbon and I needed to trim off a couple of the leaves on the bottom so that I kind of had just a long vine piece. And then once that was done, I'm just going to take one piece of this ribbon and go ahead and attach it to one eye hook, and then string it across diagonally to the other eye hook and attach it. So it'll be one piece that is attached from diagonal to diagonal, and then I will do the same thing for the other 2 eye hooks. I then just cut a piece of floral foam and put it in the box, and funny enough, it was a brick, like the brick kind, and I just took a little slice and it fit perfectly. And then I grabbed some of my moss that I had and I'm just hot gluing some of that to the bottom and then kind of cleaning up the edges and trimming any extra. And then with the lavender that Whitney sent me, I'm just going to cut off individual pieces and stick it directly into the floral foam until I get the look that I want, and then that's it. That is my little lavender plant hanger. Moving into this next DIY, I'm going to be using the bag of wood rounds that Whitney sent me. My first initial thought was to go ahead and use a Forstner bit and kind of drill out a little bit of the center of these and make votive candle holders, but then I decided I wanted to go ahead and make a little decorative stand because I just love having all kinds of stands. And I'm just taking the pieces and I'm just sizing them from large to small and just trying to decide at what height that I want this to be at. Once that was done, I had this little wood piece here that I had wood burned the word bless. Wanted to make sure that that would work for the top, and it did. So taking my Gorilla wood glue, I'm just going to glue these pieces together, putting a little bit in the center of each of the wood rounds. Then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and glue the top to this little base, and then I will weight it down. I did flip it over and go ahead and put some paint bottles on this just to make sure that everything adheres really nicely. I let it dry for at least 24 hours, and then that's it. You've got a nice decorative wood stand that you can use to display cakes, cupcakes, or even just some random home decor. Here I have half of a chopped up sign that I had purchased from Hobby Lobby a long time ago on clearance in the spring section, and I'm going to go ahead and finally use the rest of this. Now it did have a little bit of the wood pieces sticking off, so I'm just using my miter shears to go ahead and trim all of that off. Then once that was finished, I'm just going to take some of the Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, also known as black, and go ahead and give this, it only took one good coat to paint the front and the back of this wood plank sign. Now that my sign is all painted and dry, I'm going to be working with the very cute tea towel that Whitney sent me. Now I really struggled with this. I knew I wanted to make a cute little pocket, and I am just going to leave some of the real audio in here so you guys can know what was going down while I was trying to get this next step completed. I don't want to cut this. This towel is too cute. Okay, I just have to, it's like ripping a band-aid off. I just have to do it. Let me get my gold scissors out to make me feel better about this. No, I don't want to cut it. I really don't want to do this. Poor little towel. You deserve better than this. Now that that painful segment is over and the towel has been destroyed, I'm going to try to bring it back to life. And I'm ready to go ahead and attach this little pocket to my wooden sign. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead. I did end up gluing the very top of the towel. There were two pieces together so that it was nice and clean and crisp and attached. And I'm going to go ahead and hot glue this to the back. So I'm going to start at the top of the towel by hot gluing it to the back of the sign, and then I will pull the bottom portions up, and then the two corners will be the last part that I pull up, and I'm just kind of going to use some hot glue to kind of help me get those as smooth as I can on the bottom of this sign. The fabric pocket is all completed, so now I'm going to take some of the boxwood greenery that she sent me, and I'm just going to go ahead and slip that into the pocket and kind of fluff it up a little bit. And then once that was done, I took the twine that she actually used to wrap up one of my challenge items, as well as one of these little cardboard tags that I got in a 100-pack from Amazon. I've been crafting with these quite a bit lately, and I just thread the twine through the tag, and then I wrapped around the twine about 3 times and then just tied it in the back. And then I wanted to write something on there. Now I'm writing the words, I'm just freehanding this, fresh herbs. Now I do realize that boxwood is not an herb, but I just, for idea's sake, wanted to show you what you could do. You could do fresh flowers, you could do, you know, whatever you want to do, fresh mint, fresh thyme, whatever. And then of course you could find some fake herbs and actually stick them in there. But there you go, a cute little sign and a way to display greenery that's just a little bit different. All right, moving into this next DIY, I'm going to be using the sign as well as the 2 knobs that she sent me, and I am working in the twist for this month, which was to use a popsicle stick somehow in our DIYs. So I had grabbed my large popsicle sticks that came from Walmart, and my first step here was to go ahead and try to get off this white canvas paper that was attached to the sign, because I wanted the whole sign, the wood look of the sign, to shine through. And I thought it would be kind of an easy task. It was a little tricky because this paper was on very good. They must use the same glue that Dollar Tree does, but I tried to heat it up and pull it off. It didn't really work. Ultimately, in the end, even Goo Gone didn't really work. I just got a washcloth and dampened it and then kind of set it on there for about a minute or 2, and then I just kind of scraped it off like that. So that is how I got the paper off, and then once that was done, I was ready to start getting set up to work with my popsicle sticks. Now it is time to mark up my sign so I know exactly where my popsicle sticks are going to go. So my first step was to mark the midpoint for the width here. Then once I got that marked out, I needed to find the middle from the edge of the sign to my first mark. And then what that'll allow me to do is, because I'm actually going to make 2 X's on this with my popsicle sticks, which will make a design. And so these were the 3 marks that I needed to be able to do that. Once the marks were all in place, I went ahead and marked my popsicle sticks, and then I just used my miter shears to go ahead and cut these. It was used at about the 135-degree angle to get these to cut right, and then I went ahead and did that for all 4 popsicle sticks that needed to be cut in order to make X's. Once all of the pieces were cut, I went ahead and took 2 of the pieces and used some of my Gorilla Wood glue to go ahead and glue those down. Then I packed them with a bunch of paint bottles, put some weight on it, and let those sit for 24 hours. Once that was finished, I took my other pieces, and by laying a popsicle stick directly across, there was going to be a little bit of gap. It wasn't going to be flush against my wooden block sign. So I did go ahead and mark my other 2 popsicle sticks, and I went ahead and cut those. So essentially, I ended up with 4 pieces that needed to be also wood glued down to my sign. Once the popsicle sticks were all glued down, I took my Dremel tool with a drill bit, and I went ahead and just drilled a hole in the center of the X, and then I did one for the other X, and this is where the knobs are going to be screwed in. So once I got those holes drilled, I just simply twisted my knobs in and secured them in the back of the sign. And then I had some of this crushed glass left over from my last video. This came from Dollar Tree, and it is so pretty in person, and I knew that I wanted to kind of add a feature to this. So I wanted to go ahead and fill in some of these little segments that the popsicle sticks make with the crushed glass. And I chose to go ahead, I wanted to make sure that it adhered and that it was a clear finish and that there were no bulky hot glue globs or anything like that. So I did use my Gorilla Glue fast acting glue. This is an equivalent to E6000, but I just like the Gorilla Glue brand better because it sets up really, really fast. And I went ahead and just glued down glass pieces, and then after the first round there were a few little spots where I just needed to go in and add, but I just love it because the glue just disappeared into the sign and you couldn't really tell. And then the last step would be to go ahead and I'm going to attach on the back 2 little hanging hardwares on each corner of this sign just to make it a little sturdier to hang it up. The next item out of the box, I'm going to be working with the scrapbook paper. So I had this sign. This was from Dollar Tree that I had started to do another DIY with. It said "This Is Us" on it, and they have them in stock now. And I had broken it down, but then didn't use it. So I'm going to be using it for this. And this piece of cardstock paper, all the pieces she sent me were so pretty, but I went ahead and opted for this one. And what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put the back of the sign on the back of the scrapbook paper and trace around it, and then go ahead and cut it out. Then I'm going to attach the scrapbook paper to the back of the sign with just some regular glue, a glue stick. Once that's on there, I am going to go over it with a coat of Mod Podge because I do plan to use this as a trinket tray that you could put, you know, perfumes or use it in your vanity area. And so I did want to make sure that it was nice and sealed. Once that was done, I went ahead and put the sign back together, and then I wanted to make 2 little handles. So to do that, I used some 16 gauge wire that I had, and I went ahead and just strung up some wooden beads on those. And then on the frame itself, I went ahead and used my Dremel tool again and drilled some holes. So that way what I did is I filled the holes up with some hot glue, shoved my wire down into the hole, and then the bottom of the bead also adhered because the glue kind of oozed out a little bit. And then I did the same thing for the other side. I drilled a hole and then shoved glue in there, hot glue in there, and then put the wire in there, and then the glue kind of seeped up and attached the bead, and that way my handles were super sturdy. Now, I would say that I would not pick these up by the handles. If you want it to be really sturdy, then go ahead and like fill those little holes with E6000 or a much sturdier glue. So I definitely would not pick them up by the handles just because you never know with hot glue. And that's it. I'm just doing simple and plain with this little tray, but I think it turned out really cute. We're moving into my last 2 DIYs, and they are definitely whimsical, fun, and colorful DIYs. So for this one, I'm going to be working with the strawberries truck that she sent me, and I'm going to go ahead and pop off these 2 parts of the truck and put them aside because I will be using them. And then I'm going to flip my truck over and go ahead and paint my entire truck with some turquoise paint. And then I'm also going to paint the little fenders, wheel wells, I'm drawing a blank on what they're called, but you know what I mean, with some nice bright hot pink paint. While all of that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and take some red paint to paint the brake light on the back of the truck. Then I'm going to go ahead and take some white paint and paint my headlight. You could also do yellow if you prefer the yellow headlight. And then I'm ready to work on my tires. So I'm going to go ahead and put these sections back on the truck just temporarily. And I had these little black plastic things. They were left over from a DIY I did in my last video from the little 3-planter pot thing from Dollar Tree. And when I saw these, I thought, okay, I can use a section of this to make hubcaps. So I went ahead and traced out where my wheels need to go, and then I painted that with some black paint. Then taking these little wheel well hubcap things that I'm going to be using, I went ahead and trimmed off the part that I wanted to use for the hubcap, and then I painted it with some of my galvanized tin paint so that it would have a metal looking finish to it. Any guesses of what I'm making yet? If you guessed ice cream truck, you are correct. And I have to say, I have to give credit where it's due. Mr. Cheap was the one that suggested I try to turn it into an ice cream truck. So what I'm doing now is, because those 3 kind of blobs, those are going to be my scoops of ice cream, and then I'll have cones coming down. So I'm just going to kind of trace out where the ice cream scoops are going to go. And then once that's done, I'm going to take some tan paint and go ahead and paint the cone area. And then I'm going to go in with my 3 colors. I'm going to use a pink, a kind of brownish color, as well as kind of a off-white yellowy color for the 3 scoops of ice cream. And I'm going to go in and go ahead and give those nice couple coats of paint till it's nice and covered. Now I'm just going to take some of my Arteza acrylic markers and I'm going to draw out some details. So I'm going to go in and kind of define my cones, and then for the ice cream scoops, I'm going to use a pink, a yellowish color, and a darker brown to kind of trace around the scoops, just kind of lightheartedly, not doing like a super firm line, but just to give it a little more detail. Then from there, I wanted to make a cherry, and I have to say, I feel like my cherry is on point. So to make the cherry, I took a little piece of greenery and just kind of trimmed off a little piece of the stem. And then I didn't want to show this on camera because I did not want to freak you guys out, and I probably wouldn't recommend doing it unless you're a professional. Not that I am a professional, I'm just a daredevil, I guess, when it comes to crafting. But I took a round red bead from Dollar Tree and I put it in my miter shears. Now let's think about this. It's round, it's not flat, so you have to be a little brave to cut it in half, but I did with my miter shears. It went right through it, no problem. And then I glued that to the top of the yellow scoop of ice cream, and I just thought it turned out so cute. And of course, you can't have ice cream without sprinkles, so I'm going to bust out my colored glue sticks from Surebonder and go ahead and put them, do little sprinkles on these. Now I do get asked about how do you like switch out the colors, and what I typically recommend and what I often do is I will just cut my glue sticks in half, and then I put a little bit of hot glue at the end of one and stick the other one to it and feed it through that way. You have a little bit of waste, but you can always squirt your extra glue into a silicone mold and make it into a thumbtack, or use it to melt down in a glue pot. So there's options you can do. And then once that was done, I was ready to go ahead and start putting my truck together. So to start wrapping this up, I did take my marker and then again trace around the truck. I hot glued my wheel wells back down, and then I used a pink marker to go ahead and again loosely trace around those to define them a little bit. Then taking the stickers that Whitney sent me, I am going to put ice cream 25 cents on the truck. Now there was not a cent sign on the sticker pack, so I just took a lowercase c and uppercase I and cut off 2 little sections of that and made myself a cent sign. And then once that was down, I wanted to go ahead and cover the back with some not construction paper, but some scrapbook paper that I had ice cream cones on it, just to finish it off and kind of make it look pretty on the back. And then the last step was just to hot glue my my hubcaps back onto the wheels, and then this little ice cream truck is all finished. We interrupt this special programming to bring you a very important message. This last DIY is what one might call a fail. I felt the need to include it because, gosh darn it, I was determined to use everything in my box. Now, at the end of this segment, you will see that I will not throw this DIY away, but I will place it next to a very special item in my craft room. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program. Now this last DIY, I saved my last tricky challenge item, which was the Skip It. And the first thing I had to do was just cut it apart so I could envision and kind of look at it as 3 separate things. And when I saw this blue ropey stuff that used to connect the ball to the little hoop thing, I saw a rainbow. So I started to cut these by just measuring them out and then snipping them apart. And I just continued to cut little pieces until I ran out of the blue stuff. And then I also took the round purple hoop thing, and I took it outside and I spray painted it gold. While that was drying, I grabbed the birdhouse, which was the last item that I needed to use in the box, and I started to destroy it. I used my miter shears, I popped off the roof, I literally was breaking it down for a piece of wood. That's what happened. I guess this is what it looks like if a tornado comes around a birdhouse. And so once I got that done, then I was ready to go ahead and move on to my next step, which was painting each of my little blue pieces a color of the rainbow. Here is what my spray painted hoop looks like. It's kind of a goldish color, which was my representation of the gold with the rainbow. And then I had this canvas that I had taken apart a while ago and never really did anything with. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace out my hoop with this canvas and then cut it out. And then on the back side, I want the white side to be what my rainbow is going to be attached to. So to attach it, I'm just going to take some hot glue, and it kind of has this little channel right here. And I'm going to start at one point and put some hot glue in there and just kind of smush it down there. Then go to the opposite point, and then it's kind of like a north, south, east, west, and then just finish gluing the rest of it in and get it nice and secure. Now it's time to start building my rainbow. Now these little rubber pieces did not hold shape, so I kind of had to squeeze, and it was, you know, a little bit of manipulating involved, but I'm just using a ton of hot glue just to attach these pieces together. And then once it's all done and I've got it all filled with hot glue, I'm going to go ahead and put some more hot glue on there and then just glue it directly to my canvas. Once that was done, I felt like the rainbow just kind of needed to be outlined, so I took some brown rope that I had. It's not twine, but it was a kind of like a braided rope that I had that I got on Amazon in a huge roll, and I outlined my rainbow with the rope. Now I wanted to go ahead and do something with the little channel part here, and so I just took some beads and I put them on a piece of twine and strung them up. These fit perfectly in this little section, and then I went along here and there and just secured them down with some hot glue. And then I was debating, okay, do I make this a wall hanging? And I remembered, no, I really want to use everything in my box, which meant I still needed to use the birdhouse and I still needed to use the wiffle ball that was part of this challenge item. And so I took the half that I had broken and covered it with painter's tape. And then after that was covered, I proceeded to cover it with some air clay, as well as the one little piece of wood that I got from the birdhouse with air clay. All I can say is it was definitely a ghost moment. If you've seen that movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's literally what I felt like, and I was singing the entire time while I was doing this. And then my goal here was to make a little stand that I could put my rainbow picture on. At this point, I feel the need to reel it in. I should have just left my little canvas thing as a cute little wall hanging, but no. This is eventually what's going to turn into a stand, because I decided to take this outside once it was nice and dry after 24 hours to spray paint it gold. And then attach my little canvas thing that would have, again, been fine on its own as a wall hanging to this gold thingamabob. And for those of you who know what this tree signifies and what it represents, will understand why I'm putting this tree next to it. That is all I can say about this DIY. All right, and there you have it, another mystery box round in the books. Let me know down below which one of these DIYs was your favorite. Also, I love to ask you guys this and read y'all's responses. What of the items that Whitney sent me would you have made? I would love to know what you guys would have done if you'd received this box of goodies. The next mystery box challenge will be at the end of May on Friday, and we've got another really awesome sub, so I cannot wait for that to happen. Thanks as always for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hi. If you're still here, welcome. So it's been a while since I've done one of these, but felt the urge. Crafting confessions with Courtney. Also confessions with Courtney, because they're not all necessarily about crafting. Please excuse my dog. He's got allergies. I've done a confession about Ugg boots, 10 items or less lane, at the grocery store, spray paint. Today I'm going to be talking about the Instant Pot. So I do own one. I also own a crock pot. And I'm ashamed to say that my Instant Pot is a glorified rice cooker and boiled egg maker. Those are the only two things I've ever made in it. And both times it was just one time. That's it. Never used it again. Yeah. I find it kind of ridiculous when it says, hey, saute your onions. Now switch it and change it to this. Now change it to this. I'm like, I would rather dirty up 800 pans on my stove and cook that way, which probably doesn't make sense to a lot of you, but that's how I roll up in here. So I am not on the Instant Pot train. I am on the crock pot train. Drop an emoji down below. If you're on the Instant Pot train, why don't you drop a, let's go ahead and make you drop an X. The red X, okay? Let's just drop that for the Instant Pot. If you're on the crock pot train, drop a heart. Drop a heart for the crock pot. And until next time, I'll see you later.